kupika kuchengeta mitemo yeZimbabwe. Munopika here kuti panguva yamunenge muchiri vashandi vechiuto muchavimbika? Munovimbisa here kuzotevera mhiko dzeZimbabwe? Munovimbisa here kuchengeta mitemo yeZimbabwe? Do you swear that during the period of service in the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, you will be faithful? I swear! Will you bear true allegiance to Zimbabwe? I shall! Will you observe the laws of Zimbabwe? I shall! I shall! I shall!
We welcome you to our episode of Strategic Intelligence Analysis. For today, we are going to do a security intelligence analysis pertaining the future of Zimbabwe and the future of ZANU-PF in light with the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3. The Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3, it's a proposal. It's a proposal by the ruling party. So let me say by the government, whereby it is saying the president's term, the president and the parliament's term or the parliamentary's term, including the presidium, should be extended from 5 years to 7 years. And then also the other proposed factor is that the president should be voted by the members of parliament, and the citizens of Zimbabwe should vote for the MPs. So those are the proposed ideals which constitutes the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3. Whereby some are arguing that the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 to be passed, it should go through referendum to be voted for by the people of Zimbabwe, by the citizens of Zimbabwe. Some are arguing that no, that alone for the Amendment Bill number 3 to go through the referendum is a total violation, a total strike on the Constitution of Zimbabwe. Which is arguable enough, but I'll try to be neutral on that point. Those points are both raised by legal gurus. Pertaining the support of that, no, there's no need of a referendum. There's a legal guru who happens to be the Minister of Justice, Honorable Zimbabwe, is raising that point. And on the other side, it is Professor Lavmo Matuku. So both the legal practitioners are raising reasonable arguments well to be taken note of. But my argument is not on the legal aspect of Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3. My argument or my presentation pertains the future of Zimbabwean security. What I can say and what we cannot deny is that this is a very, 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 very serious issue beyond our comprehension. This is a very serious issue. Why is it a very serious issue? For us to understand the future, we should study history. What led to Chimurenga 1? What led to Chimurenga 2? It is because of the violation of those rights. The violation of the rights that everyone should vote for their leader. Those are the mitigating factors which led to the Chimurenga War. Though it is unreasonable or inapplicable for us to see that Zimbabwe is going to go through the same process, that one is It has 20% chances of happening. But what we cannot deny is that we are entering a phase of a Cold War, which might lead to silent assassinations. You know, politics is a dead game that cannot be denied. That's why one singer named Thomas Mafumo he has a well-known song which is even sung by soldiers in the barracks, which says "Nyaya dzenyika Jojo chenjera, siya zvenyika Jojo unozofa, ndakambokudza Jojo siya zvenyika." So we cannot deny that politics is a dirty game, which includes shedding of blood. So what I'm trying to say is that the founding principles of ZANU-PF, it is that ZANU-PF, for it to rise to power, it made us believe, and it made our mothers believe, it made our fathers believe that when it rise to power, there's going to be one man, one vote. It happened. Even today, there's still one man, one vote because the constitutional amendment bill number 3 hasn't been passed yet. Number two, it promised us land indigenization, which happens. We now have land. We can now acquire land. It is happening. That cannot be denied. It promised equal rights, equal opportunities to everyone. And we can even see the implementation of those same principles by our president's mantra, building Zimbabwe brick by brick. That cannot be denied. That is happening. Zimbabwe has been built brick by brick. Our problem is that we only expect for things which must be done in 7 or 10 years to be done in 2 years. However, within that context, let us take the idea of the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3. The agenda behind it is questionable enough. Who is pushing the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3? Because it is not only on one occasion, but it is on 3 or 4 occasions whereby the head of the state, the supreme intelligence, in intelligence, they call him an intelligence tsar, the president of Zimbabwe himself said that he is not willing to go beyond 2028. How? Who persuaded the president to think of considering to take over to 2028? In other words, when you are talking in intelligence terms, sorry, let me make it clear. I'm not a CIO intelligence officer, I'm an intelligence analyst. Okay, I studied criminal investigation and intelligence analysis. So I'm making this analysis based on my understanding of history, based on my understanding of security, not representing anyone. Anyways, as I was saying that in intelligence, they're saying that you who can push is you who is powerful. So when the president was adamant in his position, but even his worst criticizers believed that the president is not going to proceed after 2028. Now all of a sudden the president wants to proceed to 2030. Why am I saying that he wants to proceed? It is because he is silent pertaining these issues. He is not blocking anything. And in other words, he's even calling for Vision 2030. Though he hasn't come up open if you want to proceed to 2030. Because Vision 2030 is not the president's vision, it's the people's vision, it's the shared vision, it's the ZANU-PF vision. But while in that context, who is pushing the president to attain Vision 2030? Because we understand that the president is the most and the only most powerful person in Zimbabwe. But who is making our president change his position? There's a certain word which we hear, Shikananda. If the Shikanandas are so powerful to make the president, to force the president, to persuade the president, even when he said, I'll persuade the persuaders not to persuade me, if they managed to persuade the president to continue up to 2030, that is a very, 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 very serious security flashpoint. It cannot be ignored. That's a very serious security flashpoint. Why? We now want to know how powerful are they are. How powerful are they? What agenda do they have? What is the future of Zimbabwe? Who will be controlling Zimbabwe? There's a statement in the book of Proverbs which says, kana Jehovah asingavaki guta, vavaki vacho vanovaka pasina. We understand as Zimbabwe that we are a nation led by God. And God makes sure that everything he does is clear. Ndiani kwari kuvaka guta reZimbabwe? Ko kana tichivaka pasina Jehovah, tinovaka here pane zviripo? So that's the first point I want to make it clear. Who is behind the Vision 2030? Who is financing the Vision 2030? Who is it that managed to persuade the president to think of going over 2030? Who is he that the president can't even question? Who is he that the president is allowing to push him? Who is he that even the security organs of Zimbabwe are silent pertaining that issue? Who is financing the Vision 2030? For what purpose? Is it truly for the president or it is for their purpose? That's one security flashpoint. Number two, ZANU-PF principles, founding principles, are going to be eroded, unquestionably eroded, by the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3. If the founding principles of ZANU-PF are eroded, then what can an unprincipled party build? Then in the context of Zimbabwe as a nation, let me put it this way. When two elephants fight, the grass suffers. We understand it is undeniable that not every ZANU-PF is supporting the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3. One is, for me, an example. I was part of ZANU-PF. I recently left ZANU-PF, or I chose not to be non-partisan because I realized that our party is losing its principles. So I'm no longer a member of ZANU-PF. But when I was a member of ZANU-PF, I made it clear, even making public statements, that I do support ZANU-PF, but I don't support the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3. So that means I'm not the only one without position in ZANU-PF. And recently, Honorable Matuke made a statement which says, if the after the passing of Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3, there's going to be garnishing of teeth. That statement alone, it is showing us that when the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 is passed, there is someone who has certain power to make others garnish their teeth, or in other words, to make others suffer. And by saying that statement in public arena, in other words, he was saying when the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3, there will be someone with a certain power that even the judiciary system cannot question him. Because you can't make someone garnish their teeth because of having a different political view. How can you make such a public statement? So what is the future of the security of Zimbabwe in that context? What I can say is that we are heading to a very, very dangerous destination. Taking also into consideration the Central Intelligence Agency of America has been voicing too much about the UFOs. That one, if you view it from a security flashpoint, study the modus operandi of CIA. What CIA does first when it wants to play a cold war on a nation, it first uses the media to push a certain narrative. What is the narrative which is being pushed here? It is that the narrative that in Zimbabwe, there are UFOs. What are they going to do? By making the whole world believe that in Zimbabwe there are aliens, there are extraterrestrial beings, then it is going to attract certain companies or certain individuals or certain intelligence companies or certain intelligence agencies to come and research about the existence of UFOs. For either it might be deemed as a danger to humanity, who knows? And by that way, as Zimbabwe by right, we won't have a say to stop America, to stop Americans and their intelligence agents, also Israel intelligence agencies, to come here and investigate about UFOs. Because when something is a danger to the international community, a country has a lesser voice to voice their opinions. So I want us to view things in that context. What is it that America wants in Zimbabwe? It's not about UFOs. It is something more deep, something more sinister. And the amazing thing is that the voices of the aliens started being voiced when Zimbabwe started consulting on the constitutional amendment bill number 3. In the same context, America is weaponizing the United States dollar, and Zimbabwe is working on dropping the US dollar totally by 2030, according to what we read in the newspapers. Why is Zimbabwe trying to drop why is Zimbabwe trying to de-dollarize? As I said, that America is weaponizing the dollar. So our nation wants to drop the dollar so that it will stand immune from even international pressure caused by the dollar. And we have introduced our own currency, which is called ZIG, which is backed by gold. And if you study the financial trends, if you follow the financial analysis on Twitter, you realize that gold recently spiked, and the price of gold is reached par more than US dollar. That means that the US dollar is decreasing in value and gold is rising in value. So who knows? Maybe as time goes on, the ratio of our SIG it will be 1:3 with the US dollar as it was before when the bonds were introduced. Gold is taking value. And America doesn't want African countries to be independent. Remember BRICS, BRICS and the US dollar. It's a cold war between those countries. So United States of America, they through its intelligence agencies, it wants to fight cold wars on African countries. United States wants to control the world. But unfortunately, it's now a bit hard because of the indoctrination of Pan African. Sorry, because of the indoctrination of the Pan Africanism ideology, especially by Nkuruma. And here also in Zimbabwe, recently there was introduced the Yebe Stable School of ideology. So America doesn't want all those things, especially for African countries. So for it only to penetrate, it is to penetrate by showing that in Zimbabwe there are certain beings which should be taken serious of, because it might be a danger to humanity. Because recently FBI released a statement that FBI can't explain UFOs. So if FBI can't explain UFOs, in other words, it means that FBI need to study and explain UFOs. So it is through aliens that Americans want to come and penetrate in Zimbabwe. And because of international pressure, we can't deny. And I want you to see this. The reason why Zimbabwe was allowed in the United Nations Security Council is with a non-permanent seat. Though we cannot deny, the efforts of the Minister of Foreign Affairs. So that one cannot be denied. But what I want us to understand is that if America wasn't of the matter of fact or wasn't in favor of the matter of fact for Zimbabwe to gain that seat, Zimbabwe would have gained that seat. By letting Zimbabwe gain that seat, and when Zimbabwe gains that seat, it is in the same time the voicing of the UFOs in Zimbabwe that were seen in 2008 are being raised. Is it a coincidence? If it is a coincidence, it's okay. But to my understanding of security issues, this is not a coincidence. Start the modus operandi of CIA. It employs the same modus operandi. In psychology, there's a statement which is said the law of reciprocity. The law of reciprocity is that when you give someone something, then you ask him or her a favor, that person is more prone to admitting to the working of that favor. It is the same. By Zimbabwean having been admitted in the United Nations Security Council, by that alone happening, it will be hard for us, Zimbabwe, to go against anything that is being considered an international security risk. So you get the sense what I'm trying to bring to. So that is the future of Zimbabwe security standpoint. We are heading to a very serious destination, and we are on the verge of a stupendous crisis. Uh, if it was possible, I would have recommended my president for him to reconsider on the constitutional amendment bill number 3. But considering that I'm not a government official, I'm not well acquainted with their state secrets. When the government wants to move or work on anything, they do consultations with even security officers. We have more than 30 years experience in the security field, who only don't have book experience, but they also have field experience. So maybe if they voice their opinion in favor of constitutional amendment bill number 3, from an unbiased security point, then I think yeah, we never know. It might come out good for Zimbabweans. But considering that it might lead to an in-house fighting, that thing is very serious, and that thing should be avoided. For when you start a great fire, you need more than one people to stop that fire, and the danger it would have been caused, it might cause repercussions for more years. We should study the Kukra-Wondi effect. By understanding the Kukra-Wondi effect, we can understand what might be caused by this constitutional amendment bill number 3. And when there is an in-house fighting, the grass, we are the grass. You and me, the common people, we are the grass. One way or the other, we are going to be negatively affected. The constitutional amendment bill number 3 is not going to be positively affected, because there is nothing in politics that is funded by money which can come out good. Only political funded, only ideology funded opinions, those ones come out well. That's why Chimurenga let me put in this way. That's why the idea of going to fight for Zimbabwe, wow, no one was bribed to fight for Zimbabwe. No one was given money to fight for Zimbabwe. everyone chose to fight for Zimbabweans. Just a few individuals refused and chose to work against their own brothers and sisters. But the people were ideologized, and they understood the importance of fighting for a better Zimbabwe. But look now, people are given cars. Opposition MPs are given cars and money to make others support the constitutional amendment bill number 3. Yeah, you can give us cars. You can give us cars. We can drive cars. We can change our minds and say we are now supporting the constitutional amendment bill number 3, and we'll be ignorant of our brothers. But even it happens when the security repercussions start taking place, it is going to affect us. When I say security repercussions, I'm not talking of a possible coup. No, a coup is not likely to happen in Zimbabwe anytime soon. Unit from a security point, that would be treasonous because there's no reason enough for a coup to be conducted. Legal matters should be settled legally, not through the barrel. So when I'm saying it's a security flashpoint, I mean enough fighting. Not that soldiers, no. Soldiers are under the command of the commander in chief. They are not under the command of our emotions. So yeah, that's the point I wanted to explain, and that is the future of our country. And it is very fast to understand that in that context.